A top champion comments on rumors of an AEW debut, and has Bray Wyatt been released from WWE? But first, All Elite Wrestling are set to enter into the house show business, with the House Rules events being led by both Tony Khan and new Director of Business Development Jeff Jarrett. With the first House Rules show set for this Saturday on March 18th, the first match has now been revealed. AEW would announce that Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli will team up against Big Bill and Lee Moriarty of the firm, with the show going down in Troy, Ohio. Obviously, we're not going to cover every AEW house show from here on out, but it is interesting to see the level of talent that will be on the non-televised shows, with Jon Moxley being a particularly big name for those in attendance to see live. Ricky Starks would appear on Swerve Strickland's Swerve City podcast this week, where he would provide an update on a recent incident during the WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view. The AEW star was backstage at the show to support his friend Cody Rhodes, who of course won the men's match. This before an image from a CCTV camera leaked of Starks backstage. On the podcast, Ricky would reveal that he's considering suing the Alamo Dome for leaking the photo, and said, "I'm in the process of maybe suing Alamo Dome and getting some money out of it, because how are you a security guard and go, you know what I got? Rewind the tape. Let me show you right quick." Last night, news broke that former TNA World Champion Crimson was arrested last week, this after violating an active order of protection. He was booked into the Montgomery County Jail last Wednesday, having been charged with contempt, with a $1,000 bail being set. Crimson, real name Anthony Mayweather, was previously jailed back in 2016 following a domestic incident with his wife, where he is said to have headbutted her. Then in February of this year, Mayweather had made several calls to his son's phone and sent several text messages to his wife, which breached the order, resulting in a warrant being issued for his arrest. 2023 Royal Rumble winner Cody Rhodes would speak on the Good Karma Wrestling podcast this week, where he revealed his thoughts on a potential WWE return of one of his real-life friends. Formerly known as Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona has been a staple of the independent circuit ever since his WWE release back in April 2020, picking up world titles in NWA and GCW, whilst also winning gold in Impact Wrestling. Cody feels that Cardona's time as the quote king of the indies should come to an end in order to sign with either AEW or WWE, and Cody would say, "I'm really proud of him. He's out there, he's doing the indie god thing with the Indiana Jones hats. Everything Matt's doing, Matt's been the king of the indies now, this is going on year 2. You only usually get one run in that role, you know? He's going on year 2. What Matt does next is going to be huge. If he goes to AEW, that'd be cool, but if he comes to WWE, it would be off the charts. I think he's a huge get, a huge free agent. He's the best he's ever been, but he's really pissed me off. I have no good karma with Matt Cardona at the moment." Former WWE champion Big E would suffer from a worrying injury last year when he landed on his head after a belly-to-belly suplex on the outside of the ring, leading to him fracturing his C1 vertebrae and C6 vertebrae whilst avoiding any ligament and spinal cord damage. Since then, his future in wrestling has been in doubt given the seriousness of the knock, something he would discuss in an interview with TMZ. With him set for more scan results this month, E would reveal that he's not going to make any decisions on his next step until he sees the results, and noted, "I just got to see what the scans say and then talk to the doctors and go from there. Right now, before I know anything, I'm not going to make any rush to judgments or anything, see how everything looks." When asked if he's nervous to hear the potential outcome, he remained positive, noting that he has no anxiety over his future, and what will be, and he would add, "Nah, no anxiety at all. Everything isn't permanent. If it comes to an end, cool. If it doesn't, cool. What will be, will be. I'm good with whatever. For me, life will always give you twists and turns that you don't anticipate. I think you do the best you can with what you've got. Life is a gift. If you're here, if you're walking, if you have your health, if you got your family and friends, you're blessed." And before we get to the rest of today's stories, be sure to subscribe to Wrestle Planet if you haven't done so already, as we aim to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And also head over to Wrestle Planet Gaming if you're into wrestling video games, ahead of the launch of both AEW Fight Forever and WWE 2K23. But with that said, let's get to the rest of the video. Stone Cold Steve Austin would make his long-anticipated return to in-ring action last year at WrestleMania 38, taking on Kevin Owens under Street Fight rules, his first match since Mania 19 in 2003. Well, we now have an update from Fightful Select regarding another return for the Rattlesnake, who is said to have received multiple offers from WWE to appear at this year's Hollywood WrestleMania. The report notes that Austin is open-minded over the possibility, under the right situation with the right money offer, although these requirements haven't yet been met. Sources close to the situation add that a match with Brock Lesnar was pitched last summer, although the money was a non-starter, before he later turned down a match against undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, with Fightful being told that Austin didn't get back to WWE over the offer. Another opponent that was recently pitched was that of LA Knight, something that has been rumoured online recently. However, no sources close to Austin or WWE have been able to confirm if the match is actually taking place. Fightful can confirm that Austin is scheduled to do some WWE-related promotional work for WWE 2K soon, although this is seemingly unrelated to WrestleMania. The AEW debut of AAA Reina del Reina's champion Taya Valkyrie has been heavily speculated on in recent days, with TBS champion Jade Cargill set to accept an open challenge from any Canadian upon the company's debut in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada this Wednesday night. While Taya herself has since responded to the rumours when speaking with Bill Pritchard of WrestleZone. Valkyrie would note that she will be at her home in Los Angeles, California this Wednesday and not at AEW Dynamite, with her noting, "I will be in Los Angeles, California. I will be here in my house with my dogs. John Morrison will be back from Australia, so yeah, I'll be here." Of course, this doesn't necessarily rule her out of the match, and it could well be a red herring, with nobody knowing for sure until the challenger's music hits. Last night, reports began to emerge that popular WWE superstar Bray Wyatt missed the recent Madison Square Garden live event, this after originally being scheduled to take on LA Knight in a Lights Out match, a rematch from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Wyatt hasn't been seen on WWE television since the February 27th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he would appear on the Titantron to mock his slated WrestleMania opponent Bobby Lashley, this following an attack from his companion Uncle Howdy. His sudden disappearance and his absence from the MSG shows has led to fans wondering what is going on with the Eater of Worlds, with some fans speculating that he could be set for his second WWE exit in 2 years, given backstage concerns that Vince McMahon is pulling the strings once again, somebody Bray had a falling out with during his last run in the company. Well, we actually have two conflicting reports regarding the status of Wyatt, with the first coming from Ryan Frederick of the Wrestling Observer. Ryan would note that as of now, Bray Wyatt is out of action indefinitely and is no longer appearing at the upcoming WrestleMania 39 event due to unspecified creative issues. With that said, a report later emerged on Fightful Select that appeared to dispel talk of a creative disagreement, at least for now, so let's break that one down too. Sources within WWE that are familiar with the situation have claimed that Wyatt is out with a physical issue, with WWE's creative team being told that Bray is out due to illness. Fightful would add that regarding rumours of creative issues, they haven't been able to gather information that confirms this and haven't been told it from anybody within the company. They would conclude by saying that whilst this is the case so far, they will continue to reach out to sources to see if it can be confirmed, with one source flat out denying it right now. It's worth noting that Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy related materials are sent to SmackDown almost every week, but this hasn't been the case for the past 2 episodes. When weighing up the two reports, there appears to be mixed signals coming from within WWE, although for now it appears that Bray Wyatt is in fact still with the company, despite social media chatter of the contrary. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 masked AEW wrestlers unmasked.